Did you know that life coaches are needed now more than ever? I'm Frank Macri, founder of Thriving Coach Academy. I've trained over 1,000 coaches and helped them launch their own successful coaching businesses. If you want to make an incredible income and impact as a coach and have a lot of fun doing it, I'll show you exactly how to get it done. This is Life Coaching Secrets. What's up, coaches? In this episode, I'm going to talk about a concept I came up with called disciplined creativity. Now, this concept came up when I was mentoring one of our coaches, and he was saying that one of his struggles was coming up with a consistent flow of ideas for content that he would use to market his business. And he was questioning whether or not he had it in him to come up with ideas. And as I coached him, I realized that it wasn't that he didn't have ideas, it was that he didn't have a process for channeling his creative energy. So in this episode, I'm going to share with you what is creativity, where it actually comes from. I'm going to share with you why you're already a creative genius, even if you don't consider yourself a creative person. And I'm going to reveal to you how to consistently generate amazing ideas that you can use to grow your coaching business. Before I get into this episode, I want to share with you a really lovely comment I received recently from one of our loyal listeners, Richelle. Richelle wrote, "Frank, you are helping me every day, each morning as I listen to the podcast when I get ready for work. I'm on episode 38, and each one is jam-packed with gold. I use the things I learn from you with my clients. Multiple clients have told me that I'm an inspiration to them, and they feel like they've gotten so much support from me. I know that I'm going to be a successful coach, and I see my future self guiding me towards that. I'm so excited for every single episode." Thank you so much, Richelle. Super appreciate that. And if you are a listener of this show and you've received some value from our episodes, please do leave a 5-star review on whatever podcasting platform you are listening from. Thank you in advance. It is greatly appreciated. Okay, so let's talk about creativity. So I want you to consider for this episode, what if you sometimes struggle with coming up with ideas, I want you to think, what if you already are creative and you just need a process to harness your creative energy, all of your creative genius that's already inside of you. So the definition of creativity is the use of the imagination or original ideas, especially in the production of an artistic work. Okay? Now here's how I would expand on that definition. I think of creativity as a very special form of consciousness. I think of it like a channel that is always floating above all of us. And there are moments when that channel opens up and sends us a spark or a hit of inspiration, like a thunderbolt that's coming down from a storm cloud in the sky. And it can be very sudden, it can be spontaneous, and it's also very fleeting. So do you ever get a brilliant idea and then a few moments go by and you forgot what the idea was, right? So this is why it's so important to have a discipline for your creative process, right? When inspiration hits, you must have a process to capture that creativity. And that's what I'm going to go over here. Now, if you are spiritual or if you are religious, another way that I think about creativity is think of yourself as like the vessel that is connected to a higher power, whether you would describe that as God, universe, spirit, or sometimes in the academy, we just call the higher power GUS, G-U-S, to stand for God, universe, spirit. So you are a vessel that is connected to Gus. And over time, Gus will be sending you insights and ideas, creative genius. And what happens is Gus is trying to transmit creative ideas to you constantly, but sometimes you're not in a space to receive it. Sometimes you're closed off or you don't have a process to transmit and receive that message. And when that happens, Gus goes, "Oh, I guess you're not available, so I'm just going to go find another person or another coach. I'm going to see if they're available for what I have to share." So I don't know about you, but there are times when I feel like I get ideas, but I don't even feel like the ideas are coming from me. I just feel like something is sending those ideas to me, And it's my responsibility and it's my moral obligation to be the messenger, to reveal the message that I'm getting. But I often don't feel like it's coming from me. So I think there's a spiritual energy to creativity. And if you don't have a way of transmitting that message and capturing it, then that message is just going to go find someone else who's available for it. So you must have a practice for channeling your creativity so that it's actually able to produce content and value or art. Now, creativity is a very right-brained and imaginative process. It doesn't follow logic. It doesn't follow sequence. It's a very artistic type of experience. So that's why it's important to have a discipline for it, so that way you can channel that creativity so it works for you, and so that way you're able to capitalize on it. Now, you might wonder, why is it important to have a process for your creativity and be disciplined about your creativity if you're a coach? Well, the reason why it's so important, whether you're a coach or any kind of creative professional, is this is how you actually get ideas for anything you want to produce or create. So if you're a coach, this is how you're going to create content to market your coaching business. So there are a lot of business strategists out there and people that just tell you, the actual strategy of what to do. But if you don't have a way to capture your ideas, then having any kind of strategy is not going to work. I think this is one of the most important strategies that you need to have, but it's also one that I've never heard spoken about, having a discipline for your creative process. So another reason it's important for you to have disciplined creativity is because it's going to allow you to constantly generate ideas that you can use to grow your business. Your creativity is one of the greatest resources you have to support you in overcoming any kind of challenge that you're facing in your coaching business. So when I say it's going to help you create content, I mean any form of content. It could be Instagram posts, blog posts, videos, podcast episodes, whatever form of content. Any way in which you are conveying an idea, a story, or something that's going to be valuable to others. So when you don't have disciplined creativity, when you are letting your creativity go unmanaged, I call this sloppy creativity. So here are some signs that your creativity is a bit sloppy right now. One of the signs is if you get amazing ideas, but then you lose them very quickly and you forget what they are. Another sign is if you are trying to juggle a lot of different ideas at once and you're spreading yourself very thin. You're not seeing any of those ideas or most of those ideas to fruition. Another sign of sloppy creativity is if you are letting your ideas just come and then they go away. So you're letting your ideas just kind of like float through you and then they're gone. They just disappear. So as human beings, we are actually designed to be creative. We are creators. We're excellent at that inherently, but we are terrible at managing that creativity. Up until this podcast episode, it's all going to change. So before I get into the 3 steps to having disciplined creativity, I want to share this quote by Prince Ea. And the quote is, "The graveyard is the richest place on earth, because it is here that you will find all the hopes and dreams that were never fulfilled, the books that were never written, the songs that were never sung, the inventions that were never shared, the cures that were never discovered, all because someone was too afraid to take that first step, keep with the problem, or determined to carry out their dream." So powerful. Think of how many ideas go to die. How many great, amazing, incredible insights don't ever get shared with others. This is why having disciplined creativity is so crucial. So there are 3 steps that I'm going to go over to help you establish disciplined creativity, so that way you can capture your inner genius and use that to inspire others and also grow your business. The first step is asking yourself, where do you get inspired? So where do you already get ideas? What environment are you in where you notice that you have ideas come up? You want to think about this carefully. For some people, it might be when you're on a road trip, when you're driving in the car. For me, one of the places I know I get ideas is the shower. A few minutes into the shower, I often get some kind of incredible idea. I may get an idea for a podcast episode or a resource to create for my coaches. Oftentimes, it comes from being in the shower. It's almost immediately that it happens. So you want to think about where are spaces where you find that you get ideas, okay? Also consider who are you with when you get ideas. Are you by yourself? Are you with certain people, right? Your environment and your social circle might inspire your creative ideas. I know for me, often I'm alone when I have creativity hit, okay? Some people might also find that when they're exercising, when they're working out, when they're going for a walk, when you're in nature, these are often places where creativity often strikes, okay? Think about if there's a certain time of the day when creativity hits you. Maybe early in the morning, you find you get really amazing ideas, but then as the day goes on, a lot of things distract you. Or maybe you might find that late at night, when a lot of people are sleeping and everything's quieted down, you start to have ideas come up for you. So what time of day do you notice you get really amazing ideas? Maybe there's certain music or sounds that you hear that spark creative genius. So think about what kind of sounds do you hear? Maybe it's total silence, right? Maybe when you're meditating or breathing or sitting in total silence, you notice and hear that inner genius, that voice inside you get louder. Okay, for other people, it might be if there's a certain type of instrument playing or a certain song playing. So you want to become a student to your creativity. That's what step one is all about. Becoming a student and an observer of your creativity. So where do you get inspired? Where does that creativity often strike you? That's the first step. The second step is asking yourself, how can you capture creativity when it hits? So now that you've explored where inspiration hits, where it is, the environment, you want to have a process to capture the idea. That means getting it outside of your head, okay? So once it appears, you got to capture it because like a thunder and lightning, it strikes and then it could be gone in a few seconds. It's going to go off for someone else to get the idea. So there have been times when I would be in the shower, I'd get an amazing idea, and then 5 or 10 minutes after the shower, I completely forgot what it was. So then I started to realize that if I really wanted to capture the ideas, I had to do it right away. So sometimes I'll just hop out of the shower and jot something down and then go back in the shower and there's water all over the floor. Apparently, I've heard that there is some kind of waterproof notepad that's created where people can, for this very reason, you can hang it in the shower and there's a marker that goes along with it for people who get ideas in the shower and things that they want to remember. So if you don't get ideas in the shower, maybe you're out on a walk and you get an idea. You might think, how can I capture the idea? Well, you don't necessarily need to carry a notepad with you and a pen. Maybe you just pull out your phone and you open up a note-taking application. There's free note-taking applications that are on most smartphones. And you can just you can open up a note, label it ideas or creativity, and just write a few words or write a couple of sentences just to capture the essence of the idea. You don't have to, in that moment, create an entire post. You can if you want to and if you're available to that, but what you really want to do is just capture the essence of the idea so that way you remember it later. Okay, another way you can capture your ideas is by opening up on your phone an audio recorder application. Okay, on iPhones, it's called voice memos. Okay, so basically you open up the application, you hit the record button, and you just speak into your phone for a few sentences or a couple minutes, just capturing the creativity. Like, again, think of it like you're a messenger, you're receiving this message, and you just want to share it. Don't worry about filtering yourself. This is not something you're necessarily going to publish or make public, but you just want to capture the essence of it so that it makes sense to you. So if you're driving and you get really amazing ideas while on the road, there are hands-free options, right? You can just have a way for you to capture your creativity while on the road. Okay, think of what it's a hands-free option. Or maybe it's just pulling over and just recording yourself or writing it down. You've got to have a process to capture inspiration. Don't just get caught up in the assumption that a lot of people get caught up in, thinking that, oh, that's a great idea. I'll have to remember that later, or I'll have to write down that later. You want to capture it in the moment, okay? All right, so again, this is not the final product of what you're going to share. You're just getting the essence of what's coming through to you. So how can you capture inspiration and creativity the moment it appears? And then the third and final question is, how and when can you flesh it out? How and when can you flesh out the idea? So this is when you want to deliberately block out some time in your schedule for you to expand upon the ideas that hit you over the past week, okay? So maybe over the weekend, I'm getting all these great ideas, I'm capturing them, but when am I actually gonna sit down and give the idea substance? Like actually put it together so it's coherent, so that it's a message that other people can understand, that I could share with other people, right? So time block in your calendar means putting some dedicated time that you are deciding ahead of time is when you're going to expand on your idea. You're going to flesh it out. Okay, you're going to arrange it in a way so that way whoever's receiving the message, your audience, your network, your followers, that they're going to understand what it is that you're sharing, whatever the concept is, whatever the resources that you're sharing, or whatever kind of value that you're putting together. Of course, if you're in the moment and you are willing to do it, you can also just like click live, go live on your phone and just share it as you are channeling your creativity. I think this is a little more advanced, right? Sometimes I've just been so inspired and I just pull out my phone and I just start speaking into the phone and recording myself. And because I'm just so inspired to do it. So you don't always have to flesh out your ideas before you share them. And you especially want to catch yourself with this step because you don't want to get caught up in perfectionism and prevent yourself from sharing your ideas. Okay, one of the keys I've mentioned and share with a lot of my coaches is you want to go for B-. Whenever you are producing art or value or content, go for B-. This doesn't mean that you're going to produce stuff that isn't really powerful. It just means that whatever you consider B- is going to be many people's A+ because we are our own worst critics. So go for B- in your brain. And once it's B-, it's good enough. Click post, click publish, click share. So this is what I call disciplined creativity. So look at your life right now. In summary, where do you get inspired? What kind of environment are you in where you notice that you get really amazing ideas? Become a student to your creativity. Then you want to think about how can you capture that inspiration the moment it happens? What can you do so that way it doesn't leave you? You have a way to retain the idea as it hits. And then the third step is when can you flesh it out? What's a space in your calendar that you can take some time, even if it's just an hour or two a week, to give the idea substance, piece it together, fill it all in, and then share it with your audience. So for example, with this podcast, I will get ideas as I'm in the shower, as I'm on a walk. And right when I get the idea, I will often open up my email application and I will send myself an email just with a few sentences explaining what the idea is. Sometimes I'll click the talk to text feature and then I will just babble into my phone just the essence of what's coming through and I'll send it to myself. And then I have dedicated times in my week where I go through all the emails I sent to myself and then I put them in my podcasting notes, I flesh out the ideas, and they become the episodes that you hear on this podcast. That is the discipline that I have for my creativity. You want to do this so that way it's not sloppy. All right, that's what I got. Before I finish this episode, I'm going to include a little clip at the end of this right now that's going to be one of our students sharing about their experience in the academy and also the tips they would have for students that are just getting started. So listen to their story so you can be inspired. And I hope to see you on the inside. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Hi, my name is Bill Grant, and I have been a real estate broker for 22 years. It has been a rewarding career, but after 22 years, I've decided it's time to try something different or at least just add something to my current career. People have been telling me for years I've been a great listener, and they enjoy telling me all of their problems, and I've been helping them. And I decided that a coaching career might be a wise thing to look into. I have learned more about myself and my thinking by going through this coaching program. I was being coached, I was learning by other students being coached, and I was learning when I was coaching other students. I have been coached on relationships. I'm now in a relationship. I have been coached on some money issues. Now my money stuff is, falling into place. I came out the other side having stopped therapy. I have gotten the confidence that I lacked in the beginning to now seek out my coaching clients. I know where to look for them. I know how to reach out to them. And I see this as, I don't want to say a career, but it's more of a calling. This is something that I was meant to do. I am going to specialize in gay men in recovery. I'm now at the point where I have the confidence and the passion to let the real estate business go. And I'm now going to be pursuing this as a full-time career. And initially I was thinking it was not going to be as lucrative as the real estate business could be, but now that I've learned how the business operates and my passion, I realize that because I love it so much, it could be and will be more lucrative than the real estate business. I can't say enough about the school. The instructors are wonderful. The other students, the quality of other students are terrific. You have to apply to the school. They don't take anybody. So it's a very select group of people. So it's a nice environment. I had an amazing shift halfway through the program. I was learning a lot, but there was still this internal walls saying that I really couldn't do this. I was too shy, didn't know enough. And after that training session where we were intensely coached on being shy, whatever the blocks were holding us back from the business aspect of it, of putting ourselves out there, I came out the other side a new person. I had the self-esteem and knowledge that I was now a coach. I wasn't becoming a coach, I was now a coach. I am now, thanks to the program and the instructors, very cognizant of the gifts I have to impact the world. I would recommend this program to everybody. Someone who's just starting out in life and wants to start a career in coaching, I would recommend this to someone who is in a career and say they're in human resources or something, and this would really augment their career path and help them move forward in their chosen career, as well as people like myself who have been in other careers. While successful and satisfying, they're not really their true calling. This has been something that's been in the back of my mind as something I might want to do, like a long unfulfilled dream. And I think there are a lot of people out there like me who think they might want to do this and are afraid to make the leap, whether for financially, whatever their reasons are. I would recommend them investigating the school and speaking to one of the people in the admissions office, because I think it would really be a wise choice. I would suggest trusting your instincts. Your inner voice is telling you to do this. The financial investment in the school is minimal for the return that you're going to find. And I think the time is not that much based on how much you're going to learn and how much you personally are going to be transformed as a person.
Hey, would you like access to powerful coaching tools you can use on yourself and clients right away? For being a listener of the podcast, I'm giving you a VIP guest pass to get a sneak peek into my coach training program. Inside, you'll learn our coaches' secret tool they use to transform their clients' lives. And you'll also get a training on how to launch a coaching business. Just head over to www.thrivingcoachacademy.com/VIP to get started. I'll see you on the inside.